Hello, hello, hello. Oh, Lord, y'all got the chat. Y'all been here chatting it up. Happy Wednesday from rainy Alabama. Not that I'm complaining. I'm not. We all need some water. That way I don't have to waste. Not that it's a waste, but that way I don't have to water it myself. God is watering it. So, hello, hello. Some of you guys, I was hanging out with y'all earlier this morning with Eddie, who was on fire. Just saying. I feel like I need to catch up on the chat, see what y'all was talking about. Ooh, let me see, let me see, let me scroll back, scroll back. If you're here, hit that thumbs up. Let everybody know I'm here because I have not had my thumbnails because, life just kind of happened and I just kind of paused. Didn't quit, I paused. The very thing I tell you guys to do, pause, 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 pause. So let's see who's here. Who's here? Cookie Wookie, who is here? Hello, hello, hello. Lisa, Lisa, my marigolds. Is it marigolds? I think that's what they are. But whatever. They're sprouting up. I need to send you a picture. The Williams didn't do so much. My what's that little thing? Um What's Alvin? The chipmunk. My little chipmunk dug around, and I think he dug them up. So they're not there. I don't see them anymore. But yeah. Adrian, hello. Oh, missed you on Eddie's live. Adrian, uh-huh. Okay. Okay, we got Adrian. We got Zal. Hello, Zal. I saw Julie Parker. Hi, Julie Parker. Thank you for the love. Ava Lee. Hello, hello. I figure marigolds are kind of like they just do their thing. I might have to restart my live. I'm not sure, but I feel like I'm like not moving 100%. Feel like there's a pause in the moving. Like, is it just me? Let me go over here and look at my analytics and see how that's working out for YouTube. But over on my eCam, it's not seeming to be moving. There's that troublemaker. Eddie set folk on fire and then left. Set a 3 alarm fire. Okay, y'all tell me in the chat. Does it look like it? We don't see a pause, sound, and screen. Okay, cool. Then it could be just on my eCam, because I think there was an upgrade and I didn't do whatever. So that means I can't look at my eCam because that's gonna drive me crazy. So I'll just have to look at my studio to know. Got my coffee. I put Sienna Grace up so she didn't wreak havoc in the studio because I'm feeling myself today. So I'm feeling kind of fine. Feeling mighty fine, mighty fine. I had a good evening last night. I got sleep and I didn't get out of the bed till I got a notification that said Eddie was going to be live in 30 minutes. And I was like, oh, well, let me get up and brush my teeth and get ready for Eddie. Then I went and sat on the porch a little bit, my coffee, and then Eddie got to going. And I was like, oh, I need to go in the studio because it's motivating me to want to do something. So I'm feeling like I'm getting my stride back without, my little funky attitude. Because I had a little funky attitude. I'm gonna be honest, I had a little funky attitude. And it's okay. Just sometimes you gotta admit when you have a funky attitude. I like the way Eddie did his. He jumped on that thing today. If you wasn't over on Eddie's live this morning or this afternoon for you East Coast folks, you need to go check it out. So much so, the things that he was saying, I was just like, he's talking about us over here and these folk around here. And I think, Eddie, you're right. Not that you didn't know you wasn't right, but I like the way we had that conversation in your chat. And it was just a good dialogue. This is what I really, really wish. I wish the red and the blue could really get together and have great conversations publicly. Not the go to lunch afterwards or we go to the same church kind of thing. Kind of say, it is what it is. And, because over here in the South and Alabama, I get tired of hearing, well, the Republicans freed the, the slaves, and because Lincoln was a Republican, so you should be a Republican. I was like, well, I'm just me fi me over here. I tend to pay attention to who's running. I pay attention more so to people's lives before they start running. When somebody says they're running, I won't look at the backstory, maybe like in your college years, like your upbringing. I try to go deep. Now that you can go deep, I try to go deep because, like Eddie said today in his live, there's one thing about, a sister. She gonna go to bat for you, you know? And that sometime when he said that, I was like, man, if I can tell you the times that I've gotten in trouble, like it wasn't even my fight. Like it shouldn't even been, but I saw wrong being done. And then next thing you know, here I am jumping in, just like, hey, I ain't cool. So, getting kicked out of school, I did never got expelled, but I did get suspended for one time. And the young lady, they were from Africa. They were new, and this was in elementary school, right? They were from Africa. And then the other time I did, like my one of my good friends, was they weren't from she was born in America, but her family was born in I want to say Puerto Rico. Want to. Or I'm not sure, but back then I didn't get into where you was from as much as we do now. Like we really pay, like a lot of people don't know where you from. Like what you mean? I'm from Alabama. What does it matter? Like I'm from a sperm and a ovum if you really want to go deep as to where I'm from. But what does that have to do with the fact that you and I are getting ready to be good, good friends? Does it matter? And sometimes, because times like now, here in this time zone, right now in our country, right now, some of the people that you thought were your friends, you see the postings that they're putting up. I think the first time the Orange Man ran, I realized, like, oh wow, is that how you really feel? Like, whoa. And then I tried to glaze over it and be like, well, they're entitled to their feelings. They are. They're entitled to whatever it is they want to think, and they are. And they are. However, when you start talking bad about a generation or a people, or thinking you're superior to those people, that's where I think I draw the line. Now, if you want to say my shoes ugly, my clothes are ugly, you can even say I'm ugly, and then turn around and say, but girl, I love you. I can roker with that. I can roll with that all day long. But just to go out and just not like me because of the color of my skin, or not like me because I happen to be educated at times, or not like me because of where I live, where I was born, and who raised me, kind of thing. I just think that's just a waste of energy. So that led me to want to talk about, are you living by your core values, or are you just surviving by what life serves you? Core values. Now, y'all put in the chat, hey, Mariah. Who else done popped in? Somebody else popped in. Just saw Mariah popped in. Mariah, you still in blue. You told me to take you off, but I guess I did one thing and didn't do another one. I don't know. But core values. When I say core values, y'all tell me what you think about. What comes to your mind for you in your life? Just I'm very curious. Lord have mercy, all this stuff. Now, Miss McCoy, I'm on at 3 o'clock, and why you want to send me a death notice? Jesus Christ. Mr. McCoy, I've been delivering all kind of bad news today. I've been walking, I've been standing in the studio, and I mean, why in the world, why would you send somebody a text message letting you know that somebody passed away? Why would you do that? My husband doesn't know who he's married to, nor has he been paying attention to my moods to know that that's just not the thing to tell me over text message. Now, I could put y'all on pause and call him and just really get off my chest what I really need to get off my chest so that I can continue with my live with the good spirit that I started with, but I'm just going to let it go because we're talking about core values. And my core values are very, 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 very strong. They've changed. I had to walk that out. I had to walk it out. Um, I created this. This is another working through anguish because we did anguish the other day, and I did a 30-day journal, took my photo and kind of redid some things and then popped it on there and went in Canva and took the live and turned it into a 30-day guided journal. That's where my mind has been. That's where my I've been over here cranking it out. Okay. All right, we're gonna keep moving because that just ugh, Jesus. Hey Carla. Let's take some deep breaths. Let me sip on some coffee. Trust. Oh no, truth, honesty, ethics, morals. Love it. I got rid of the folks I thought were my friends somewhere between Colin Kaepernick and Pumpkin Head's first run. My socials on and offline are about 98% good, maybe 99%. I could oh yeah, yeah. I think were we still overseas? Sometime when a lot of this stuff happened, I was overseas. I was in Germany, so I was removed from a lot of the real serious hatred. Um, a lot of I don't understand, a lot of that stuff. I was kind of removed from it. And one thing I can say about living abroad, living overseas, is they are not into a lot of hate. And I don't know, it could be like they would have their protests. Like there were times when I couldn't go to Paris because they were doing serious protests, and military is just like, nope, can't travel because whatever. It's like, oh, what are they protesting? And then you go down to what they're protesting. And I was like, huh, okay, totally different from what we be over here protesting. But yeah, we circle back now. Maybe people are understanding what the hell Colin Kaepernick took the knee for. And it's just like, when we had the Black Lives Matters and then people came back and say all lives matters. It's like I didn't have a problem with saying all lives matters, but all lives wasn't getting slain in the middle of the streets like they were. So it wasn't that all lives didn't matter. All lives did matter. We recognize that, but we were talking about the Black Lives Matters, the Black lives that were being gunned down in the street with hands up in the air, like flat out killed, murdered in the street. That's what we're talking about. So, and Colin Kaepernick was just like, you know what? I'm tired of running this ball for y'all to sit up here, and then people are getting just being murdered. So he took a stand, and then I feel like he did a good thing in life. It's not always about the money. I like when people sit down and say no to money. Um, I believe I sat down and said no to money. I left a good job. What's that? Working hard in the city for the man, and I left for peace, for my sanity. So that's it. Let's see. I think the French have wonderful protests. I think they do too, right? Listen, yeah. Cookie, you know what I'm talking about. Okay, Eddie, you picked it up. You picked it up. Okay, okay. Okay, yes, truth, honesty, integrity. Jesus first before anything and anymore. That used to be mine, Julie, and somewhere along the line, um, it's just understood. Everything that I do in my life, God is first. God, it used to be God first, family second, career third. God still is first, the head of my life, because without I wouldn't wake up, I don't feel. Um, Family is not second anymore. And that kind of really knocked me off. So I have the God, I wish I had it's in the room, but I have this thing that I do for core values and my Enneagram and all that. And I had to look at it and I was just like, wow. But family's not really first in my life anymore because my reasons for my family used to being was first was because of my children. And my children were my reasons for getting up every morning, going to deal with a lot of BS.com. But hey, they're grown now. They don't have to, be the forefront. And so now family is William. That's Mr. McCoy, just in case y'all didn't know. It's he and I. We're over here working on this leave to cleave thing. And family is still in the top five, but I was just really shocked that family moved. And then when I really went down, paying attention to why, I was just like, oh, yeah, that makes sense. Right? Okay. So when Eddie was live, I was going to pull my gel plate out, but I wasn't there yet. He got me, but I wasn't there yet. But my box, I cut out these sayings that I got in a free download for something. Now, this box I did with my gel prints. Even did the bottom. We'll leave it on the bottom because that's very beautiful. But I didn't put words on the bottom. So I cut the words out. Let's see. Let me see if I can move this back a little bit, just a smidge. Y'all get the idea, but I got it all up in your face. So it don't have to be in the technology so much. Let's see if can I back up off it a little bit, little bit. Yeah, we can go back a little. It ain't gonna be too much. But yeah, so in each one of the words on here speaks to who I am. Like I'm curious, I still believe, I create joy, I collect things. The journey, it's all about the journey. I like to inspire, I love to explore. Blake, do you need to go outside? I can let you out. Do you need to go out? Come on, turn the box on. Come on, buddy. Should have just left you outside too. Come on. Sun's out. You can sun's out and it's raining. Come on. Hey, boy. Go somewhere and sit down. He doesn't know what he wants. Okay. Sit down. Rest your nerve. You are in a different season in life now. Yes, yes. Yes, that's it. That's it, Julie Parker. However, when we go to talking about family, people mention all the other things, and then I was like, but that's my extended family, like my mother, my grandmothers, my children, my grandchildren, their significant others. Those are extended family for me, and that's another thing with core values. All right, hold y'all. Let me let this puppy out. You just there we go. Let's see if we can get this train back on the track. Um, but for me, it still kind of made me feel away. And I just had to walk that thing out as to why did it make you feel away, Karen? So in my journal, because y'all know I showed y'all my journal that I created for myself, into emotional intelligence. uh, This is the mini version. Hey Jackie, how are you? This is the mini version. This one is small size, like it's real small, like it's phone size. So if this was a big one of those big phones, it'd be phone size, right? Fun size. But yeah, though there's that one. So in here, in this one, it has reflections, but it has trigger map and pause plan. That is what I love most about this one, right? Is the trigger map and then the pause plan. You're triggered, but instead of going off when you're triggered, pause. Don't don't jump back into it with whatever you really want to say, because we will. I will. Me, I'm speaking about me. So in my emotional intelligence, this is one of the things. So I have the bigger version, the 8 by 10, 8 by 11. And so as I was writing last night, and the night before, I realized it's like, yo, your core values have changed, chick. What's up? Right? Like, why? And I had to ask myself, I had to go dig deep. I felt if I had to dig so deep, I was getting ready to call my counselor and be like, yo, something's going on. Like, I don't understand what's going on in my life. But when you sit down and you pause and you really think about it from a place of what's going on in your life, then and only then can you answer the question. Hey, Lynn, this one right here, the buffer started. Hey, Dory. So is the buffer on you or is it on me? Because I'm wondering, because like I told you, I felt like I'm just some things going on. But this one, because I'm trying to get my thing done. But I took some, did some stamping and my stamp with my flowers with Joshua and Tanika or Hope Blooms, where you can get over at PMR Studio if you like those. And then with my stamp, this is the cover and that's the back. And it's just all my watercolor flowers that I took and made into a book, right? So there's that. And so I'm gonna flip through these. But I want to know. So we had some people put in the chat that what their core values are. And mine, it just was one of the things where I had to really like I don't even remember them like right offhand because they're just so new. Because before it used to be family was well, God was first, but it really wasn't a core value. That was just understood. But it was family first. Um, ethics and truth and honesty was I know was in there. Those are still in there too. But it's just one of those things when you're talking about core values. I mean, it's not like some people look at it and it's like, oh, yeah, your core values. It's not, I don't think it's a cute little word that I write in my journal and I take for granted and kind of forget about it, right? It's not a fancy word that most people don't post this on social media. Not the things we say matter to us while our life shows something completely different. So today I want to talk about the values that guide your decisions. And I want y'all to think about it. Like even in your relationships, even when you set your boundaries, mine right now had to change because my healing journey needed to change. Like I needed to change some things and my healing, my peace. Oh, yeah, that was another thing. Peace was number one. That's what was one. Peace, joy, hope. It is just like, wait a minute, where's family? But the thing about it now, extended family, if I thought about it and the way I answered some of the questions, they took away from the peace and the joy and my hope. So that's why they got kicked down because they wasn't helping. And that is how people wake up tired, resentful, overwhelmed, and angry, confused, and disconnected from themselves because they're living, but they're not aligned. They're busy, but they're not fulfilled. They're pleasing other people, but betraying themselves. And I'm me, I'm just over it. I'm just over it. And I realize that. So and the other thing I realized that sometimes we're doing everything for everybody, but at the end of the day, they don't even recognize the person in the mirror, right? So today, let's slow down and ask some questions. Question number one: what matters to me now? So, what matters to you now? What do you stand for now? Not what you stood for 10 years ago, 5 years ago. What do you stand for now? The way our political platform is right now, yeah, you might have been a Republican then. Maybe now you need to vote blue. I don't know, right? But what do you stand for, right? Now, the other question, what kind of life are you trying to build now? Because your core values are what are you doing now? Your actions usually match the values. And here's the hard one. Here's the hard one. If you don't have core values, if you don't know, then you're doing what other people, you're just following along to get along. Because listen, your values can change. Mine did. Mine changed after grief. Mine changed after divorce. Mine changed after raising children, after becoming an empty nester, even after betrayal of friendships, disappointment, loss, all of the transitions, those values that you will change. It's going to change who you are. I'm here to tell you it's going to change who you are. And that does not mean something is wrong with you. So don't think it because I did. It means that you're paying attention to who you, right? It means you're paying attention that you're growing. It means life has taught you something, right? It means the version of you that survived whatever that was may not need the same thing at the version of who you are right now. You're healing, you're rebuilding, and you're living. You want joy and you want peace. Then, therefore, if you are an empty nester, then family might not be number one. Because when you're married, leave to cleave, husband and wife, you're number one. That doesn't mean extended family for me. That's not speaking that. See, my values are my values, but I'm not pretending anymore that in my core values, when I say family, that covers everybody that bleeds the blood that I bleed. No, because everybody you count on, everybody you count, you can't count on. And everybody that bleeds the same blood that you bleed doesn't necessarily mean they mean you good or they are on the same page that you are. And we're not judging. I mean, we acknowledge we are not beating ourselves up because I've done it. So y'all don't beat yourselves up, okay? We're just not pretending anymore. We're going to be honest. So today, for everybody that's here and even on Team Replay, June Fun in the studio today, we're talking about these core values, flipping through this book of painting. These things are pretty. These are the ones I turned into a book because I'm going to add to them. I'm going to do some other things with them. We're going to let them speak to me and design, like, you know, you know. So somebody might ask the question, what's core values? So let's start with a foundation because y'all know me. I like to start with a foundation. I do. I do. Core values are the deep beliefs and principles that guide how you live your life. Core values say whether you go in the store and the clerk you give her a 10 and your order was $8 and something and she gives you back change for 20, your core values would line up to say, hmm, wait, that ain't right. Or if you got core values where ethics and truth and honesty is not on your thing, and you're just like, oh, thank you for the extra money. You were going on home and you wouldn't care that when she closed out that night, she's going to come up short. You wouldn't care. So that is how core values kind of is that internal compass that helps you decide, what to say yes to, what to say no to, who gets access to you. Like, yeah, all of that matters. How you spend your time, how you handle conflict, and check this out, how you love people. Because if you self-righteous and selfish as hell, how you love people is going to show in your core values. I don't care if you turn out and you say, I love everybody. Action speaks louder than words. Mr. McCorby, I love you. And I'd be like, yo, show me, dude. I'm from Missouri. Show me, the show me state. I don't want to hear all that lip gag. Like the kids is like, I won't get in trouble no more. Show me. Don't talk about it. I'm a woman of action, right? And how you protect your peace, how you recover after pain, and how you make decisions when life gets hard. Core values are not just words. They are the root system of your life. So when my son passed away, my core value stepped in. It's just like, I believe that I'm going to be okay because the root of who I am is rooted in God's got me. So I had to walk it out. Not the church way, not them people that go up in there and, judging the world and saying everybody going to hell. Not them folk. I was doing it for me. Because people are just like, well, you crying, doing all that crying, you don't believe that God is going to heal, God is going to bless your heart, and or they gave me this one. Well, God put no more on you than that you can bear. It's like, where the hell you get that from? Where's that in the Bible? Just don't come at me with that until you've put a couple of your children in the ground, or until you have said goodbye to a couple of your loved ones. Don't come at me with all of that, right? My core values are not just words, right? Think about a tree. The fruit people see on the outside comes from the root system underneath, the deep rooted. If you ever seen a pine tree, when a storm comes, it's usually the roots don't go deep. It just fall over. But you don't see apples on a pine tree, do you? So your choices are the fruit. Your values are the root. Okay. So you wouldn't go to a pine tree and sitting there waiting year after year, waiting on some apples because that's not the source of the root of that tree. So if you don't have love in your heart, then I'm not going to expect you to give out love. That's not your fruit, right? Right now, what we have in most of the world that's going on right now, they don't have love. They have a lot of stress, resentment, chaos, confusion. They're only doing what they need to do for self. They're only worrying about who has what I need. right? The people pleasing, give me what I need from you. What values are you living from? Am I living from peace or am I living from fear? Are you living from the peace that you know that you're going to be okay, or are you living from the fear that I got to do what they say or they not going to like me? I could care less at this point in my life right now. I don't care who likes me and who don't. I do not. I really do not. I do not. I have 10.5 acres. I can walk every day. Walmart delivers to the house now. I'm good. If you don't like me, fine. Don't come to my house. Don't come to my channel. Don't do none of the things where Karen McCoy is gonna be. And I'm okay with it. But that's because peace is number one for me now. I want my peace more than I want you to like me, right? Sometimes we say we value family, but our actions show that we value avoiding conflict more than building healthy relationships. I personally choose not to do that anymore. I know that sometimes being around family can bring a lot of pain. Not bad pain. It's not meant to be. It's just that that's normally what happens. So now that I know that in certain instances, it's like, yeah, no, I don't have the mental fortitude to want to even do that. So what do? I tell Mr. McCoy, I just don't have it in me. Can't do it. Because not why. And I realize now, after redoing my values, because peace, it doesn't line up with the peace that I want, right? It used to be, yeah, I could go and suck it up, and I don't want to go no more. I don't want to hear the nastiness that people talk about when they talk about other people, and then they get into people's face, and then they act like, "Oh, hey, how you doing?" Like they didn't just say something just terrible. I want to be all that God wants me to be. And that means loving on people whether they deserve it or not. But he also gives me the free will to not be around a lot of people if I don't want to, right? Sometimes we say we value self care, but our schedule shows that we value being needed more than being well. That's not cool. I don't show up anymore. If I can't show up and be authentic and be real and be who I am, I don't want to show up for you. That's why last Wednesday was so important to me. I couldn't show up and be the best version of me. So it's just like I canceled the live. I felt like it was the best thing that I did because why? I needed to get Karen together. I didn't want to show up and be just the words that probably would have came out of my mouth. Didn't want to do that, right? Sometimes we say we value honesty, but we keep swallowing our truth because we do not want to hurt anyone or have anyone upset with us. That's that people pleasing. No, you know what? You just said something and I don't like it. And I feel the need to want to let you know. Like that's what you did. And I don't think that's cool because you said you want to be honest or you no, you said you're a nice person, right? No judgment, but you just said you're a nice person, but then you're talking about somebody else. Like that doesn't line up. But you said if your values is honesty, I would just say, and there's no judgment. That's just awareness. When you pull somebody's coattail and just be like, "Hey, I thought you said such and such and such." I just want to make you aware of what's going on. And awareness, remember, awareness is a gift. That's the best thing a friend could do is tell you, bring you back full circle to where you need to be. Now, you might be like, some of y'all might be like, core values, who cares? Like, why does it matter? Core values matter because they help you live with direction. And sometimes people don't even know that they have them until somebody points them out to them. Financially, we did my financial advisor had us to do a core values, based on money. Because a lot of us we're not good with money or we're not good with how we do stuff because we weren't raised to to handle finances, right? And that was one of mine. I started out. I was very had bad habits. Be like, well, I got this money. I'm gonna go and spend it. Didn't think about saving, right? And so now that I know better, it's just like, yeah, no, we're not gonna go buy shoes or, now it's paint. Yeah, we don't need no new watercolors this year. I don't have anything I want to show up. You're getting the same watercolors you got last year. And it is because it takes a long time to use a watercolor. But without values, you will be pulled, kind of like you'll be pulled by emotions, pressure. You'll feel guilty. You may even feel some fear. um, People's opinions tend to matter to you. Family expectations, we have a culture. Me as a black culture, I have some things that was in, I thought I had to do, and then I realized that that's not my value, that was theirs. I'm not being raised in the same time, so it I don't have to still have that. So I changed my values based on that. And I wasn't comparing myself as a mother anymore. The older my children got, I realized that, what works for your house might not work for mine. So, and old patterns, old patterns. Here in Alabama, we always they always say the good old boys club. And when we hear the good old boys club, now we have to kind of ask the question, what do you mean when you say that? Because here in my hometown, it doesn't mean the same thing it used to mean. Like it used to mean what it meant. If you know, you know. But now it doesn't. So a life without clear values becomes a life managed by reactions. A good example is, a lot of things that's going on in the world today. What's going on. And if you want to know, no, go check Eddie out and go to the end because look at all of it. But if you want that, you want some good information, he spit it out there. And it was very much so true. Because without clear values, life becomes managed by the reaction of who cares about it being Pride Month. That's not a reaction that we want to put out, right? But when you have people that go on old patterns, they're like, no, that's not what we're doing. That's not what's going on. That we don't care about that. But you do actually, if you really, 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 really look at the people that are around you, there's been more people around you that have celebrated Pride or are part of the Pride community than you realize. And I feel like we have at least about 4 or 5 of them in our families, but old patterns have kept them in the shadows of life. So now they don't have to be in the shadows of life. And then now you want to tell them that they're bad people. No, right? And core, like when you have core values and you say that you love, you can't say that love is your core value if you don't love everybody. Unfortunately, like, do I love the man in the on Pennsylvania Avenue? I don't love him, but I don't hate him. I just don't like his the way that he shows up in the world. And I had to go. I was looking at a movie and he was on this movie, and I was just like, huh, Jerk was on that movie. Then I didn't hate him because I didn't know what kind of a-hole he was. But he hasn't changed. He's the same person. He's the same person he was then. It's just like, whoa. Y'all remember Don King and him used to hang out? Y'all remember? You remember? It's just like, whoa. I never would have thought that he'd been president of the United States, though. But I respect the office. I don't respect the man. I respect the office. And as being who I am and what I've learned in life, I have to respect the office because whoever holds the office, I would like for people to respect the office. Like, they didn't when, the greatest president that will ever be in my life held office. It's, just saying. But when we say that we love, we have to love all. We do. But that might not be your core value. And you can just say what you want to say because we do. Okay. And life without clear values becomes a life managed by your reaction. You react, you might react to who is mad, you react to who needs you, you react to what people expect from you, you may react to what is urgent, what hurts. Mine was more after losing, my children. They changed each one of my children, it changed, right? So, but values help you respond instead of react. They help you say, this matters to me, which a lot of people are saying now. No, I don't think it's cool for you just to go out and just pull people out of their homes because you think that they might be illegal. Like there's a way to do that. This matters to me, right? So we're speaking up. Nothing wrong with it, right? This does not align with who I am becoming. You know what? My core value says something that I don't like this. This isn't helping me be a good person. This doesn't align with who I am. So I think I need to just kind of back up on this. Wait a minute. I don't care who anybody that's celebrating Pride this month. I don't care. I love them. Some of them happen to be my best friend in the whole wide world. God rest his soul, has passed on. But that's just that had nothing to do with who how he chose to live his life. It was because of who he is as a person. Right? I don't look at the fact that I don't go as deep as people are trying to go. And then at the end of the day, it has nothing to do with nothing. Like I think it was last week, a week before last, Mariah had educated me on something. And I was just like, huh, didn't know that. Need to go deeper into that. I learned some things. Some people are not willing to learn so that they don't be ignorant. And yes, ignorant, very ignorant to the fact of what you think. But I learned some things, right? Some people say, I want peace but not fake peace. That requires me to stay silent. That requires me not to show up because I'm tired of showing up fake. I'm tired of showing up acting like I'm all gung ho with what you just said or what you said 10 years ago, 5 years ago. Okay, I've forgiven you for that, but then you're still the same person. You're still spitting the same hate out here in the world. I choose not to want to be a part of that. I can't deal with it. So I want my peace right now, right? I do want family, but not family at the cost of my emotional health. How many of y'all can relate to that? Well, the chat done got going. Man, oh Lord God. Let's see, let's see. Whew. Let me go back over here and see was there anything because I y'all know I'd be trying to get going. Let's see. I drove by on Princess already. Oh, that just means you were laughing real hard. What are you laughing at? I missed something. I always know. Man with bad hair love hanging out together. Men with bad hair love hanging out together. Oh Lord. I feel like I need to scroll back and check out what I missed. Hey Vanessa. Okay. Hey Carla. Company here. Bearing food. I rewatch. Love the red flowers. Red, orange. Hey. All right. And tell your company we say hello. Hello, hello, hello. Okay. Let me get back over here because I'll stay over there and I won't be focusing. Y'all know I like try to stay focused. We try to stay focused. Core values help you stop asking what will they think. You'll start saying I don't give a damn what they think. That will shift your whole life. It will shift your whole life, because at this point in time in this life, I need to take care of Karen first, right? And then, like they say, you put on the mask on the airplane. You take care of yourself first. Don't be trying to take care of Mr. McCoy and grandchildren and children. They gonna be somewhere putting their mask on. They ain't gonna be worried about me, right? So you can't. So that's why family couldn't be one no more. And I got it. I got it. I got it. I got it. So and here's the other thing. You gotta start asking yourself, does this align with who I am? Does this align with who I really am? Like when Eddie said what he said on his live today this morning, um, it really, really let me know. I don't give a damn about going back to the South. I ain't got nothing for the South. I'm cool. I'm gonna stay right here in this little town I'm in, even though it's not offering me all the things I want. I'm gonna stay here because he knows what aligns with who he is. He ain't got time to be coming out here fighting the red states. And so much so because the truth of the matter is a lot of people, what he said on his live, a lot of people don't even realize that. Now I will say being here where I am, I have a lot of self-sufficient folk around me. That's because I'm in a country town, whereas um farmers need they need to be needed. So their stuff it's a little different, but still, I got the concept. You go up the road, Birmingham, the big cities here in Alabama, I get it. Same thing, same thing. So The difference between values and emotions, because this is what I had to really hone in on. Because remember, I had to ask myself, what in the world was going on? Like, why did family not fit up there? And then I got upset. I was trying, kind of got upset a little bit, not a lot. But there's a difference between values and emotions. And it's very, very, very important. So, y'all walk with me. Don't get weary, okay? Hold on for a minute. Watch these pretty flowers transform because it's going to be like values and emotions transforming in your face. Your emotions are real. Your emotions are real. I am not disregarding your emotion, okay? But they are not always your values. And your emotions and your feelings are not always your friends. Okay. You can feel angry and still value having compassion for somebody, right? You can feel hurt and still value forgiveness. You can feel disappointed and still value honesty. You can feel tired and still maybe still value service. Maybe. You can feel like you maybe you're afraid, but you still have courage, right? You get it? Values and emotions. Emotions are the signals like a red light for you to stop. Your values are an anchor that you need to pay attention that that's a red light and you need to stop. You got it? Emotions kind of tell you something that's happening on the inside of you, right? Like last week, my emotions were all over the freaking place. And it was telling me something was happening on the inside. And it was more my emotions, my feelings, and things that were hurt. It had nothing to do with me as a whole. It was just, hey, red light, stop, take care of you, right? For example, let's say you were angry with family. Your anger may be saying, I feel overlooked. Well, let me use this in the past tense because this is what it was last week. I felt overlooked. I felt disrespected. I felt used. I felt like my needs didn't matter. I felt like the emotional state that I was in was not being taken into account, that I just couldn't do another thing for anyone else. All of that transpired into something that turned into anger. And now that anger wasn't bad, but the anger alone should not become my moral compass because my core values was peace. But at the time, I didn't realize it was peace because I hadn't walked out because I had to figure out how in the world did I feel overlooked, disrespected, used, and like I didn't matter. How did that sneak up on me? Right? And it was because my core values had changed. Like I was trying to make the grandkids number one, and it shouldn't have been. I needed my peace to be number one. That's the number one thing. Because if I got peace, then I'm going to serve from a very, very loving place. But because my peace was just kind of overshadowed and it wasn't working because the mister wasn't paying attention, then that made me feel disrespected, right? And it felt like what I wanted didn't matter. Okay. Y'all with me? Hey, Vicky. Okay. But it made me angry, but the anger alone wasn't my compass. Hey, Pinka. Right? So that is why I had to pause and ask myself what value was being violated. Then when I sat down and started doing this work, I realized that my core value wasn't family anymore. So I was not in alignment with where I should have been. Does that make sense? I hope so, because y'all might be right here. You might be trying to figure out why things aren't going the way you want them to right now. And it could be that you're functioning outside of your core, what who you are at like at your core. I'm talking about like think about a avocado, the core of that avocado, right? So I had to pause, had to make some decisions because I needed to get myself together, right? I had to answer some hard questions, right? But I really, really needed to feel emotionally safe. I didn't need to explode from the anger place. That's the emotion. I was angry. That wouldn't have been good for nobody. So instead of saying, I'm done with everybody, get on out of here, go away, I don't care, I needed to step back because my value was peace, right? That was some good stuff. Y'all missed it. That was work. That was better than a bag of chips. Like I'm just saying, with a side drink. But once I realized that, and I need to have a hard conversation because I value my honesty and I wasn't being honest with myself. I need boundaries because I value emotional safety, which is me. I need to stop over giving because I value my own well being, right? I needed to forgive, but forgiveness does not mean giving unlimited access to people in my life. That is what I've been working out in my emotional intelligence. That's the maturity I got going on. That's my healing. Now, here's the thing, everybody else isn't doing it. So I have to remind myself everybody else isn't doing it. So that's a whole nother seated thing. But I needed to hone in on my piece and not worry about everybody else. I needed to worry about who? Karen. Because Karen is the one that needed to be checked at the moment, not everybody else. 'Cause everybody else was walking around here just happy as a pig in slop. I was the only one around here just like, what the hell? Like, what are you doing? Like, didn't you hear what I said? And then go on and proceed to do whatever. And I'm just like, yeah, I don't think people listening to me. So let's talk about some examples of core values. Sometimes I'm gonna just kind of put them out there as my past ones. Remember, I said faith, living with trust in God, prayer, obedience, my spiritual grounding, my purpose, that was a number one. Faith is, so it kind of like didn't hit number one because it's just understood. I don't care what I'm going through in life. God is the first, the head, and all that. So, but peace, my joy, love, honesty, integrity, then family. Can you believe? Look how far family was. Family was down there. Family, what? But I value connection, support, the legacy of my grandchildren, and relationships, healthy relationships, while also learning that family must be healthy, not just familiar, right? Not so family doesn't just say it's not centered around my children anymore. I want my family extended around family to be a value and connection. Now that's a whole nother tree that you go down and be like, okay, what kind of conversations we have? Now, can we sit up here and have a red and blue conversation without somebody wanting to pull out a gun and shoot somebody? If we can, then right, that's a value in conversation. But if we can't, then it'd be like, oh, nope, can never go over there no more. All they want to talk about is what's them, what's this and that. They don't want to talk about, oh, well, I don't care. Or I feel like I want to talk about art. And they just like, oh, nobody want to talk about no art. Okay, well, that's not very valuing. Don't want to go back over there. Not gonna put myself in that situation unless I have to. And probably the only time I'm probably gonna have to is if a funeral. Somebody dies. That's probably what it's gonna be. Right? I'm just saying. That's why my next one after family was freedom, being able to live, create, speak, rest, and choose without being controlled by fear or what people think of me. Because y'all know what I just said. I don't give a California flip of what people have to say about Karen McCoy. And don't. You know why? Because they didn't wake me up this morning. They ain't paying my bills. And even with Mr. McCoy, he pays some bills around here. He still can't. But when you start standing on your own 2 feet and deciding what's best for your life, that's when you start growing. Growth is very important to me. I was really shocked that growth wasn't up there with peace because I'm ever learning. I always want to learn how to become a better person. I want to be a better human being. That doesn't mean that I can't be best friends with a red person, meaning when we say red and blue, you had to be over at Eddie's this morning. But red, meaning, Republican, Democrat, whatever. I feel like we should all be able to be who we are just because but I do believe I can say I feel like I lost all my red friends. Um, the first time the orange man ran because they just talked about President Obama so bad. I just like, dang, that's how y'all feel? Do y'all feel that way about all black people? Like, dang, do you really feel that way about me? So it questioned some things. And then I had other friends that were coming in my inbox, like they were DMing me or sending me text messages like, Karen, I had a situation. These are my white friends that were texting me, just like, hey, how are you dealing with this? How are you doing? Like, are we good? And I was like, what do you mean, are we good? How do you feel? So we had to ask each other some hard questions. I was like, if you're gonna vote for who you're gonna vote for, and then we talk about it and then go have a drink, yeah, we good. But if you're gonna tell me that I'm wrong for who I am and taking my stance, and you want to be self-righteous, then no, we can't be friends because I don't like one-sided people. I like to have a healthy conversation. Like you feel the way you feel. I don't care that you voted for the man. I don't care. My question is now, how you feel now? Like some of the people around here in Alabama that used to have signs in their yard, I paid attention, y'all. They ain't got the signs in their yard no more. You know what that tells me? They not like liking what's going on, right? So when you think about core values, really, it just asks the question. My values are whatever your values are, right? I like self-respect. Self-respect. Not allowing yourself, myself, me self to be treated in ways that will destroy or make me feel bad. Other people don't value self-respect. And I have to walk that out and be okay with it. I have a purpose on my life. My life is lived every day with meaning. At the same time, I do know that there's a force at hand that does not want me to be well and able, doesn't want me to be stable, doesn't want me to gain wisdom, doesn't want me to have compassion and courage and have accountability for my own shortcomings because then I share my stuff because I'm very authentic. They don't want it. But my question for you is, does your life reflect your core values? If you say your core values are my values, or if you say this, my values are family, faith, or faith, family, peace, and joy, right? Does your life reflect that? If value, if you value your faith, do you make time to pray, to reflect, surrender, and seek wisdom, right? If you value family, do you want a healthy, respectful, and then for them to reciprocate, right? And if peace, because peace, that's where I am. This is why I say peace. But you choose chaos, but you say peace is your core value. Peace and chaos are not the same. I don't want you at my house if you're going to create chaos. I do not. Now, if we're going to have a healthy conversation, because there's a difference. There's a difference. You raise your voice a little bit. Okay, we might raise our voices for about 10, 15 minutes. All right, let's go have a little sip of margarita or a drink or something, or some tea, some lemonade, and let's kind of calm down because we got up high a little bit. And let's go back. Let's find some joy in this conversation. We want this conversation to be healthy. We want to be honest with each other. We're not trying to shame each other, right? See, it's like let me think about. Let me talk about this a little bit. Um, Mariah and I, like sometimes Mariah send me a text, and Mariah, I hope you don't mind, but I'm gonna put us out there a little bit. But it's like, or I say, I don't do such, I ain't gonna say who, but no, we don't do such and such, such, such. No, she'll say, well, over here, PRM student, you don't do such, 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 such. I'd be like, oh, why we don't like them? Or, oh, why, what happened? Because I need to have some kind of a foundation as to why I'm taking a stance or why we're gonna take a stance on some things. Now, clearly she's not saying, well, because we're friends, Karen, I don't want you to like such and such and such and such and such, but I want you to know, because you mentioned such and such and such, I want you to know that this is what's going on and this is what's what. And I'm like, okay. Then I can make a conscious decision for myself because I'm a grown behind woman to say, oh, okay, you won't have to worry about that no more. And then I'd be like, okay, thank you for the information. Those are two people taking a stand, taking a grown stance, having a healthy relationship, being honest with each other. Now, if I come back and say, well, girl, okay, I got it. Well, I just won't say anything if I'm doing such and such. I haven't had a situation like that. But once I've gone down the rabbit hole of what she said, I mean, good information. You need people in your life like that. They're not trying to hurt you. They're not trying to run your life. She's not trying to run my life. She just knows that I'm new out here in these streets and just like, hey, let me know, let me let you know about this, and this. But Mariah, let me tell you something about that one thing we talked about. Now, if they're gonna give me something free, now we're gonna have to walk that one back. We're gonna have to walk that and be like, I don't know about that, because I need all the free stuff I can get, depending on something. But she know what I'm talking about. Y'all don't know what I'm talking about. But that in particular thing right there, yeah, I can get that one. Especially that yeah. Sorry, y'all. We're not going into all of the details of Mariah and Karen show, but y'all maybe would like to be a part of it sometime. We're gonna maybe I think maybe we need to have a Mariah and Karen show one day. Just, maybe once a month, because Lord knows we both go live enough. But sometimes you can have a healthy debate. A healthy debate, right? Some people might be on here on my channel that say, well, I'm a Republican. I did not say I didn't like Republicans. I just said that we had a conversation over in Eddie's chat that was very interesting. Well, Eddie had a conversation on the live. He gave some information that I don't think people really know. And I thought it was very good information, right? So that's just how that thing works out. I like people to challenge me. That's why I love looking at PMR the studio. I love when P say some of the stuff she say, and then when she holler out, man, she was on a cussing spree the other day. I just had to cut it down because the grandchildren was in granddaughter was in the studio, but she's like that BS and that A, and I was just like, oh yeah, because I don't cuss well, and I have to get really, really angry and really, really mad, and by the time then, you can't cut that faucet off, which is why I didn't want y'all to be a part of my life on last Wednesday. I don't want to be that authentic. I don't. Because after it's all over, said and done with, I will admit I am embarrassed that I let myself get that mad. And I've tried, and that was because I was raised by a woman who, for a long time, I thought my name was MF, because it's just all she used. Just like, oh my goodness. I mean, she still to this day, but just let her know. Be like, hey, being a little, pull that little gun out. She's like, what the word you talking about? What the so and so? I'd be like, yeah, here you go. Let me go on and go home. She was at my house last week. And she started, oh, hey, we don't talk like that on the porch. Well, you don't use all them strong, strong words. Um, and sometimes I like to hear them because it really, really exposes how I really, really feel. So I feel like I got enough people I can call and push the button and just be like, hey, I need you to just go on this little rant right here. Especially I got a couple kids. That one daughter of mine and that one son, child. Mr. McCoy know how to cuss too. He had somebody ask him one time and be like, do you know how to talk with word without cussing? I'm just not one of them. And at the end of the day, I end up hurting people's feelings. And I don't want to hurt people. I don't. And once you put out certain things and you say certain things, you can't take them back. So that's why my whole being is not to hurt people's feelings. You know. Um, did he open the door? That means the door wasn't closed. Hold on, the puppy ready to come back in. Hold on. He want to get back in. Okay, but let me tell you. Let me tell you something. What deeply bothers me. Okay. Sometimes your frustrations point to your values, kind of like what I just said. If disrespect bothers you deeply, respect may be your core value. That's where I came, um, because I like to respect people, but I want people to respect me. So I'm going to give. You don't have to earn my respect. I'm going to give it to you. But once you lose my respect, it's hard to get it back. I don't really know if you can, right? Um, if chaos bothers you deeply, which it does. That's why I realized peace and stability was my core value now. And I don't want to be controlled, but if being controlled bothers you deeply, freedom could be your core value, right? These are the things that you have to ask. You have to ask yourself what keeps hurting me, what keeps making me angry, like what keeps making me say I'm tired of this, that, and the third, whatever, right? Underneath all of that pain could be that your core values are out of line, right? And the other question is what brings me peace? I've paid attention over the last 5 years of what settles my spirit. It's quiet time. It's my prayer time. It's walking on the ranch. It's creating here in the studio. It's being around honest people who say what they want to say and be like, hey, we can talk about it, but this is how I feel, right? Writing in my journal, creating journals, doing gel printing, all of that stuff brings me peace. So that's why I know my A number one is peace. And I'm just not going to let anything get in the way of my peace. And last week it took me to realize, Karen, you've done that, you know? Um, and so we have to get ourselves back in line. And not even because for a minute it's just like, well, the kids are here, is that it? And I just can't do what I normally. No, you need to still be able to be at peace, even with, people here. So you have to have people here so that you know how to navigate and still be at peace, right? What I'm no longer willing to tolerate. Now, this one right here, this one was powerful. Growth often sounds like I cannot do this anymore. And when you get to that point, this is a black woman's motto. We gonna make it happen. Or the other one is when you're sick and tired of being sick and tired. Once we get to that place, we're done with you. There's no coming back. There's no I'll circle back next year. There's no, hey, I still love you. There's nothing. There's not even an exit. Like, I'm not going to even send you a card to say that we're done. I'm just never going to talk to you again. When I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired of the BS.com that comes from your way, I'm just over it. You will be blocked. You will be just dismissed. And there will not be a question of, did she? Yep, you will know and will. But I cannot keep abandoning myself because I'm trying to show up for other people, right? Whether I birthed you, whether I'm married to you, whether we've got blood, I can't do it anymore. I can't keep over explaining my pain to people who really are not committed to understanding me, right? I get it. I'm not going to ask you to do it another day. It's my problem. It's where God has placed me in my life. I cannot keep living in chaos and calling it I love you. I cannot keep saying yes when my whole body is saying no. That just don't make sense. That don't make no sense at all, right? It may mean that I just started ignoring myself, and I did. I stopped ignoring myself because I started paying attention to everybody else around me. So right now, I want to challenge you. I want to challenge you to look into your core values. Now, does that mean you have to really make a life change? No, sometimes you do. Sometimes people have to. They end up like, well, the only way I'm going to get peace is to just quit this job. I'm not telling nobody to quit that job, but I'm just saying, go down that rabbit hole of your core values and ask yourself the hard questions. Now, what do I admire in other people? Sometimes you admire in others what you deeply value. Like, do you admire people who are peaceful, honest, bold, creative, disciplined, faithful, generous, wise, confident? I love confident people because if the more confident they are, the more they will not mind. I hate being around somebody that's insecure. And when I walk in the room, they just want to shudder, just want to walk out. Or they want to stand there and talk about me and talk about, oh, who she thinks she is. Baby, I'm the best thing that God woke up this morning. That's who I am. I am emotionally mature and walking in any room and holding my own. But it's taken years for me to get that way. I didn't just wake up and just do it. It took me not giving a California flip about what some people had to say about me. It took growth, right? What kind of person do you respect? That might show you the values you want to embody. What do I want my life to feel like? I want my life to feel peaceful. I want to be able to create. I want to be safe. I want to be purposeful. I want to be free. I want to be free to be able to continue living in a country that I've only known. I don't want nobody talking about, oh, well, you're black. You need to go back to Africa. I've lived that life. I was raised in that life. Yep, all black people need to go back to Africa. I've been there. I've lived that. Been there, done that. Well, if we want to just color it all out, everybody need to leave the United States of America and go back where you come from. I mean, if the truth be told, the country just nobody needs to leave. We need to just all be here together, lovingly, spirit led, simple, powerful, and beautiful. We all got places and things that we can give to this world. You don't have to be self righteous. You do not have to be right all the time. Even in saying what I'm saying about these core values, I might not be right. Somebody might be like, oh, she's just so wrong. Might be, but I'm sharing with you what worked for me and why I don't care about what other people got to say. I don't care who you love or whatever. I don't. Cause let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. Let's have a church conversation real quick. I'm gonna slide in and then I'm gonna slide out. Okay. Holding up the Pentecostal pink finger doesn't mean crap. So while you're saying that, let's just say Pride Month, or just Pride Month. If you're saying, because again, I'm not going to go down the alphabets because I, I have to pull back up my notes because y'all, I got notes from the other day. I learned some things. I did. And I'm happy to say that I learned some things, which makes me stand firm more on what I'm getting ready to say. While you're worrying about, because most people, back in the day, when Uncle Buddy came to the house and Aunt Sue came to the house, there was something different about them. And I was always just fascinated, just like they just so free spirited. And they always came dressed outside of the norm. They didn't dress like my grandmama with the daggum skirts all the way down. You saw the knees, or Unc come in his little shorts with his hot them shoes was always just bright colors or whatever, right? Just like, oh, they different. I like different. Right. So that's when I believe I started questioning things. Right. Well, that's better than the old nasty uncle. I rather deal with the flamboyant aunt and uncle than to deal with the nasty uncle. But nobody wants to talk about that, right? But they want to go up in the church house and act like they all good. They passing out communion and all the things. And then they're gonna tell you that you're gonna go to hell because of who you choose to want to love. I believe that it said something about God sent his son to die for the sins of the world. There was not cliff notes, there was not side margins over here that said, except for this, and this. The sins of the world. That means everybody that is born into this world, whether they steal a stick of gum or whether they go rob a store, whether they go and take somebody's life, God said, I am sending my son to die for the sins of the world. Why? Because he already knew that we couldn't do it. I would not die for none of y'all. I'm just saying, I love y'all, but I can't even begin to stand up and say that I can take that kind of pain. I can't. So, and I would not have given either one of my children for anybody. But God knew that I wouldn't be able to. So that's why he said, well, that's why I'm just gonna come and I'm gonna pluck the flowers that I want. And then you know what? You still gonna have to live with it. And will. And then he had the nerve to tell me, now I want you to tell the people of the world that I still love them. And I'm here for all of them. I love them no matter what. The transgender, I love them. But the people in the church don't want to tell you that. They want to talk about how people going to hell. Well, you sleeping with the good sister over in the choir stand over in the back left. Well, why aren't you going to hell? Why are you not telling everybody what you do? Right? That's the part. That's where I don't like. That's what I do not like. That right there. That judgmental attitude. That's what I don't like. So Last week in conversation, had conversation with William's uncle and aunt, had, were visiting. They was coming from Tuskegee graduation. They stopped through, love them. And we were having this real conversation on the porch. And I said, you know what? Y'all real churchy, churchy. Have conversation. Let me ask you some questions. And even as, and I say churchy, churchy because they're in church, right? But they said, no, God died, God sent his son to die for the sins of the world. I said, that's why I love y'all. He's like, no, I mean all the things. He's like, you can't go back into the Old Testament and bring it forward. Yes, it does say God didn't send his son to die for the sins to about the rules and all the things to take them to. He didn't come to change them. He came to fulfill them. But we want to stay there. We want to stay. Well, they had to give you some kind of 10 commandments to say, hey, I did this and this is wrong. Because before there was no boundaries. There was nothing. And I feel like if God gave the world boundaries, I think y'all need to give your family some boundaries and tell them when they've stepped over them boundaries, you need to let them know that it's time for them to go. Same thing, ain't no difference. And yes, your no reveals your values. No reveals your values. So let's do a values check. If you say you value peace, are you creating peace? Are you limiting unnecessary drama? Are you being honest about what disturbs your spirit? Right? Walk it out now. If you say family, are you making good, healthy connections, giving them boundaries? Are you doing that? If you say joy, are you scheduling time to have joy, to create joy in your life? Eddie gave me so much joy this morning. The colors just made me happy. Are you putting yourself in environments where you can gain joy? If you say that faith, are you only reaching for God in crisis? Are you praying before you panic? Are you walking in obedience? Are you telling people that they're going to die and go to hell, but you say faith is your thing? They don't go together. They do not go together. Faith can't be your core value because God says he loves all. He sent his only son to die for the sins of the world. Are you honoring yourself? Self respect. Don't let people walk over you and talk to you any kind of way. Self respect may require hard decisions. It will. You can't always be the good guy. That's like Mr. McCoy. He's like, I just don't want people mad at me. And I'm at the point now, all right, you ain't got to want them mad at you. Maybe they got to be mad at me. But peace, self respect. I don't want my values to be conflicted with who I am ever in my life. And sometimes your values will compete with each other. Family and peace. All right, it's Thanksgiving. I got to go hang out with family. But y'all know I've given you ways to kind of, all right, I got to go to the bathroom. Give yourself some time away from that family member or whatever. But, have loyalty and honesty to yourself so that you can have compassion and set these nice boundaries. Because what happens when your compassion keeps turning into over giving? Then you're not respecting yourself anymore and you won't have peace. You'll go down the rabbit hole of doing what somebody else wants you to do. And that's not healthy for you. Okay? Now that's my conversation. Now it's just me sharing how I honed in on the fact that family wasn't my core values. And I really do hope that that helps somebody. Maybe. And if it was for you, great. Because my core values, like I told y'all, they changed. They changed after loss. Your core values will change after life transitions, retirement, moving, um, what is it? Divorce, loss of a child, like all that, fake relationships when you find out that you had a fake friend and you're like, wait, what? You waste time, shallow conversations, core values. You may feel like it, and you might say, I want peace, I want truth, I want good connections. Then that's what you need to do. Hone in on that. You might say, well, Karen, I don't like the fact that you did watercoloring today. No problem. Be honest. I don't care. I like the fact that you'll be honest with yourself and then tell me that works. and it matters to me because I'm not here to please everybody, but I am here to satisfy and please me. And somewhere along the line, you can leave me a message and say, well, I would like to have some more gel printing, or I like to see this, or I like to see that. And then maybe I will. I don't know, but I'm a work in progress because I'm over here working on protecting my peace. So I cannot keep participating in conversation that leave me drained. So you might need to, girl, come on. I remember you said your core value was self respect. I like that. Can you talk more about that next week or something like that? Sure. Right? Now, if you're here, my mother asked the church people, does God makes mistakes? The answer was no. So my mother said, why are you people judging my son? He is also a child of God. No. Oh, I bet it was no answer. I bet it was no answer. Ooh, that was a good one. You don't even want to know how many times I done got in trouble with church because they was like, this was mine when I questioned when my son was just slaughtered, in the streets. And I was just like, kind of God, what are you doing? Not what kind of God. She's like, God, what are you doing? And then I said it, and my grandma was just like, you don't question God. I was like, yes, I do. You don't question God, but I do. He might not answer me, but I question him. I criticize him. I get emotional with him, and he still loves me because he knew the day that I was born that I was going to be the one that was going to call out some things. But I believe that I give people the freedom, and that releases them to know that because he loves them, he's okay with that, right? But I am not one that's going to tell you don't question. As a matter of fact, question. Do all the questioning you need. Question. Hey, Saul, how are you? Oh, cha. Oh, and then another thing I realized because last week, um, my aunt William's aunt said, "You're supposed to mold the next generation." And I always thought that was like my grandchildren and, stuff like that. And then God, I had a dream and I was talking and I was behind this glass, right? And I was talking to people and I was like, oh, so it's not just mine. It's supposed to be for all. Because that's my legacy was, to leave my grandchildren something more, because it was always, this is a running joke in black families, where in mine, they were just like, only thing I'm gonna leave you is bills. I was like, hmm? Be like, and then I would be like Fred Sanford, I'm gonna put them back in the mailbox. Cause I don't want no bills that ain't they not mine. And so with that, being a joke, that became one of my, I guess it became a core value is to leave something tangible that, my grandchildren can have and to set up a supply line for not only my grandchildren, but my great grandchildren and going on, you know? So the better way to do that is to set up the land. They might not want to live in Alabama, but they have the opportunity to stay somewhere that has been provided. They never have to look for somewhere to stay. Now, if they don't want to stay in Alabama, then I don't know. But there will be, funding possibly. There are stipulations. They can't just come and just withdraw money. They have to be actively working and doing something. I have a lot of rules, got a lot of things. Um, Generational wealth. Yes. And there, yeah, so that's the way to say it, generational wealth. But the legacy is more because when people say wealth, they think money. So I had to define that. I had to go even a little bit deeper with that, Mariah, because I didn't want them to think it was all about money, right? And as a matter of fact, it might not even like you might not even get no money, but you do have something that will help you along the way that I think is better than money. And so when you have people in life, sometimes people only want money and they don't understand. Sometimes money just doesn't help you. It kind of maybe hurts you. The more you got, you already see what these billionaires and millionaires are doing. Although I do know one millionaire that does great things. I'm happy to say I know her. I think she's taught me not to hate all people with money because I know there's some quiet money moving around. Um, And unfortunately, the ones that's in the world right now is not making things great for us. That's because they just don't know no better. Like they don't. But I do know a change is coming. Y'all remember um is it Sam Cooke? Change is coming. A change is coming. A change is coming. Okay. All right, so I'm done, done. I do have some things I will turn again. I like giving y'all handouts about some things that I talk about. Anguish we talked about the other day. I turned that into a whole journal. So that's that. But core values, I'm gonna kind of try to put up a quiz and then put it in a PDF that goes along in this video that in this live. So it, keep lookout for it in the comments. If it does, then I'll just attach it to the comment, and all you have to do is click it and download it. Because I think core values are good, and I think we need to really hone in on how to choose our current core values for ourselves. And you know, you don't have 20 values. You have core values that kind of hone in. You got the top 10. Like start with 5 that kind of hone in on like what 5 values need to guide my life in this season. Not forever. This season, like where you are right now. And some examples of my 5 value sets is my season of healing, my season of rebuilding, my season of protecting my peace. And in my season of protecting my peace, that one was very interesting. I put it boundaries, self respect, emotional safety. Emotional safety was very interesting. Clarity and freedom. All of those need to be all of them need to be together in order to have my peace. And then season of family healing, I still have to love. I want to be truthful and honest, but I still have to have respect for those that are around me. We have to have forgiveness and we have to own our crap. So we have to have accountability. You cannot have family healing if you don't own your stuff. You have to have accountability. I preps. Oh, huh, yeah, because you just text me. I'm just like, wait, what? Does she know what time it is? We know that's LaPortia because Azalea is here at the ranch. And then the season of creative renewal, like renewal for my creativity. After last week, I had it shut down. I realized joy in being creative, freedom to create, freedom to play, and have confidence in who I am. That is the one thing that creative renewal. Because why? It's renew your joy. We want to renew, rediscover, and reclaim who we are so that we can have a season of new beginnings. In our new beginnings, we might have faith, courage, hope, growth, and purpose. What is your purpose in life? Who are you at your core? Have you ever had somebody to ask you that? Who are you at your core? That's kind of what they mean. Now, which set sounds like what you might need, right? You have season of new beginnings, season of creative renewal, season of family healing, season of protecting your peace. There's a season of rebuilding, excuse me, and a season of healing. And whichever one of those, then put that for your title and then go down the rabbit hole. Like, Alice in Wonderland. Go down the rabbit hole. Because the core value journal, it's going to have all this in it. So if you don't get it now or team replay, don't rush, don't worry about it, because I'm going to have these things in it. But I'm going to give them to you now just in case, because we got some people that be writing it out and be in the journal. What Number one, what is one value I say, with meaning you, matters to me? Like what matters to you, really, really matters to you. An example, mine is peace. Vanessa, go get you some sleep, girl. I'll see you later. Hey, Lisa Sullivan, how are you? Okay, that was it. What's one value that matters to me? Mine is peace. Okay, number two, what does this value mean to you personally? Now, my answer is peace means I'm not living in constant emotional chaos. Peace means I can breathe in my own life. Peace means I don't have chaos in my life. That means I'm responsible for my peace. And how do I be responsible for my peace? I set boundaries. I have self-respect. I'm emotionally safe. I have clarity over what I want and I can explain what I want and I am freedom to do it. That's how you answer that one. Number three, where am I honoring this value? For me, the answer was I'm spending more quiet time in the morning. I take my walks. I'm journaling more, right? I had kind of got away from journaling because I was doing more, um, how do I say it? I was not doing more recording. I wasn't writing down. So now I'm trying not to argue over things that kind of bring in the chaos. So that means Mr. McCoy, if he does something that just does not that gets my goat, it's kind of like, oh, okay, no worries, because my core value, the A number one, is peace. So being combative about something that just it's not going to bring me peace, I don't worry about it. And number four, what am I betraying? No, where am I betraying this value? And that answer, I keep answering calls that drain me. I keep having arguments or conversations that drain me. I keep saying yes when I want to say no. I keep letting other people's urgency become my emergency, right? But peace is my core value. Number five, what is one action I can take this week to live this value? Now, for me, what I'm doing is I will have one honest conversation with myself. I will take a quiet walk every morning. I will say no without over explaining. I'll remove myself from one unnecessary argument. Meaning, Mr. McCoy can do what he want to do. I don't care no more. Really. Because why? Peace is the value that is my core. So this is how values become real. This is how you really live them out. And when you find yourself in something total opposite of this, then you're not living by your core values. Okay? And you already know, I gave you some signs. I'll give you some more in the journal that I create, or not the journal, but the handout that I create. So that way you'll have your own and you can kind of take the time to walk it out, right? But remember, your core values are not my core values. My core values are not yours, or they might be, but we might live them out differently. Equality, progressivism, so solidarity, community, and justice. Basically, people over profit. Facts. When people insinuate that I lied, my hackle go up really quickly because one of my core values is honesty, integrity, and peace. Hey, Jeanette. Saul says faith, family, peace, being tolerant of the beliefs of other people, and respect of all times. I like that. I do. That's some good. But I want y'all to really, 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 I mean, we even got core values in our art. I had to really pay attention to that. It's just like, I don't like such and such. Or P really has some strong core values in her art, and I love it. Okay, we need some more colors to go in there. I think they should be dry now. Oh, let me show y'all the one that I finished the other day. What did I do with it? Ah, it's over there. Oh, we're stamping out stuff on plastic. Okay, if anybody has any questions, let me know about that. If there's anything you think you want me to add in the handout that maybe I didn't just say, let me know. Just let me know. And Team Replay, do put your core values in the comment below. I would love to know what yours are. Or if you need to send me a message, hit me up. All my social medias are down below. If you would like to send me an email, send me an email if you want to have a conversation. And if you would like to go deeper with this, hit that join button. So that way we can have a conversation. I go a little bit deeper, not necessarily over in my membership, but if that is something that you need, hit that join button or go join me in the Patreon. Like those are more ways to get with me one on one, right? So that way I want you to be who you are and I want you to have fun. Do. So as we close out talking about core values, still gonna be here slapping some paint on some paper. Your core values are not just words. They are the blueprint for your life. I want you to look at them that way. They're the navigational system that gets you to where you're going. They're the navigation system that gets you to the joy. They're the navigation system that makes your grace help you walk through every bright day of your life, even when you're having crappy days. They'll help you keep the joy flowing no matter what happens in your life, right? Wait, that's all. See, that's my new stamp. Look at it. Well, hold on, let me get it. That's the new stamp right there. Let me see if I can read it. May the grace help you walk through every bright day of your life. Keep the joy flowing no matter what happens. You are worthy of it all, right? Love you first so you can have peace always, no matter what. You have some members here right now. Do you have some? Yes, we have a Zoom on the 28th. Yes, it's over in the community. Yep, I got it. And all the information is over there in the community for members. Yes, yes, yes. Thank you. That was on my list. That was going to be down on the list. But the blueprint for your life, it's the foundation under your decisions. You making these decisions, not your mama, your sister, brother, cousin. You get to make these decisions, right? People may not like your core values. It's okay, right? They are the guardrails for your peace. They are the reminders of who you are when life gets hard. If you have been living without these guardrails or living out of alignment, this is not the end of your story. Remember, if you're still breathing, creating, you're still here. This is your invitation to come back to yourself or to come to yourself maybe for the first time. I don't know. You get to choose you. You get to rebuild. You get to decide what matters now. And Lord knows you get to do it without being guilty. Because sometimes people will make you feel guilty. Don't feel guilty. You can stop living by old expectations. You can stop living by fear. You can start living your life and stop feeling like you belong to everybody else. It's just like my mantra now is my peace matters, my healing matters, my joy matters, my faith matters, my purpose matters, my life matters. Right? That's my mantra now. And I'm bougie and is. And I don't care who doesn't like it. Because I can show up on the ranch in my boots, or I can put my stilettos on and walk the runway. That's me. That's the confidence that I hold. Or I can walk the runway in my boots. Doesn't matter. But you get to choose who you are and how you show up, right? So match yourself up with your core values so that you can show up and be all that you need to be. And remember, give yourself grace. You cannot live your truth if you do not know who you are. So give yourself grace as you maybe go down this rabbit hole, as you take the time to figure out who you are, so that you don't just talk about it, think about it. You get to be about it. You get to live. You get to love you. You get to take care of you. You get to protect your peace. You get to keep on slapping paint on paper or slapping paint on a gel plate, whatever your thing is. You get to do this, right? And I'm going to give you in the handout, I'm going to give you a list of core values so that way you can choose. And I'm going to give you some journal prompts. Okay. So look for that to be attached to this video, this live, once it comes available. And once I get it all created, it doesn't take that much because I'm pulling it from the notes in my journal. So all I got to do is put it in a Word document, throw it into my system, the little thingy, and it'll work out. See you later, Mariah. Oh, and Krista told me to tell you, me and Mariah, we go back like babies and pacifiers. That's the only way she can say hello. Hopefully she'll be at the ranch for July. We're trying to get together for July the 4th for that weekend. But yeah, this one is the one I did yesterday. So see how after I let it dry, how I went in on the inside and it inspired me. So, and then the color. So that's the same thing I'm going to do with this one. I'm going to let it dry. And then I'm going to take this one. So right now, because it's dry, we're going to switch out. We're going to let that one dry. And we're going to pull out my words: grace, love, and prayer. I mean, peace, joy, grace, and love. We're going to use the big ones. And I said I was going to possibly, yes, I am, because I think that's the only way I'm going to see it the way that I want to. Vicky says love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self control. Those are her core values. Put the paint up for now. Oh, and I forgot, y'all. I forgot, I still have journals. Still haven't put the other journals on my website. I do apologize. But if you do know and you saw Monday's video and you want one of those journals, let me know. Just send me an email and I can send you an invoice. But I need to do it. I really do need to do it today. Because Mr. McCoy said something. He had a mouthful, said a mouthful. He said they can't sell if they can't be seen. I was like, oh, you said that there, buddy. Didn't you say that? Like, you can't sell what people can't see. That is so true. Okay, that's grace. Now we're going to put peace on here. All right. I'm like Eddie now. I'm getting hungry, so I ain't going to be on here with y'all too much long because I'm getting hungry. So I guess I'm going to be like him and drop off. I had a little salad that I knew wasn't going to hold me with fresh blueberries that came out of my yard. Y'all, my mother-in-law called me today and told me thank you for her fresh blueberries. That she never had blueberries that fresh, but that taste that good. I said that's how it is when they come from Easy Living Ranch. They're grown with love and is. But yes, we've been out there eating blueberries. Got so many blueberries. Um, I think this week, next week will probably be the last. They'll probably be gone because it usually lasts up until like first week in July. Then after that, it'll be pears, apples and pears. All right. So I'm putting what you call this stuff? Embossing powder. I'm embossing the words on here, so add a little bit of pizzazz to this print. What am I gonna do with it afterwards? I don't know. I figure it might look good in a frame. What y'all think? What you think? What you think? Because I am that's the other thing, I'm not keeping all this stuff in the studio. I just like I created it, now I got it. Julie Parker say open the blind in the lounge room to let daylight in and close it most of the way because he worries about privacy. Won't like coming in the room. Yeah, we have that problem too. I just have something this morning. It's powder. Fresh oil. So using to make colored water. Mm, mm. Julie Parker got something. I don't know what that is, Julie. I might do some little research. I do some research. Is it pronounced nuance powder? Because I've been still over here hanging out with that technique that Rhonda taught. Still been doing that. Get that. Oh Lord, the puppy is passing gas. Ain't nothing worse than puppy gas. Oh, Vicky, thank you. I have to go back and check. Well, I usually get you a replay because for whatever reason, I haven't been getting notifications. But by the time you was on, probably last night, I was in the bed. I've been doing myself a service by going to bed early. Walmart delivered my red dye today. Oh, Lisa, I can't wait to see what you create. So that was the other thing. I think it was tell me because y'all know I use the red dye the way I use it. But Lynn had a good point when she was talking about it for color fastness. And I felt like I was trying to go back and find out the video that I watched, and I need to stop deleting my history, but I did. But Lisa, let me know how it works for you in the color fastness and lasting, because that was one of the reasons why Lynn said she changed her mind because she makes journals and she wants it to, I get the pages to last. And when you use the other stuff like coffee or whatever, it really gets into it. But y'all know that's just not one of my core values. I kind of make the connection, use it, like it, love it, and then I move on. But when you do something like do it, and you want it to be something that sits out there, like light fastness is very important to me for watercolor because I want it to last just in case somebody, get this and put it in a frame. I want it to look the same 10 years from now as it does now. So I get it, but I couldn't remember the video that I saw. So that will be good. Jeanette says, whenever I was patient, I always wanted door open so I could see people walk in the halls. Whenever I was a patient. Yeah, yeah. One day when I am in the spotlight, I would actually remember to look at the fabric dye. And was concerned about it being acid free. Okay, is that what it was? She said it was not. Okay, acid free. Okay. Um that okay, so maybe I was thinking about the wrong thing. No, yeah, acid free. And I think it was one, that's what I was saying. I think it's one in the Hobby Lobby that it said something yeah, and that was last week, and that was kind of when I derailed. So yeah, didn't get back to Hobby Lobby, ain't been. So, but it's good that we have these conversations so that we can share our information. Yeah, you're right, Lisa. It was. Now that you say acid free, but then I thought it was also about coloring too. I don't know, but all the ones I did, I even put them out in the sun, and they've become good. But yeah, because she wants them to be acid free, because she makes books. Yeah, that was it. That sounded a little bit better, a little bit better. So I like again, we come together so we can have clear understanding. That's what I love about connection, and that's one of my core values. I love it. I love it. I love it. Love it. All right, y'all. I'm gonna get off of here. So that was the thing I wanted to do about the one I did Monday was this one. And then probably this one is gonna have to have some more stuff in the background. So it's gonna have to dry. So I'll probably come back on top of this one with gouache. And then up under it, I want it to look like it's sitting on a bed of leaves or something like that. So I'll have to make sure it dries. You won't see the white spaces like you see now, but it's a nice bouquet. And I had fun with it. All right, guys. So I will chat with you later. And as always, I love that y'all came and hung out. And thank y'all for walking with me um, through June with no expectation and just showing up. But I don't know. Who knows what's going to be on the desk Monday? But we're going to be talking about who knows. We never know. But right now, it's all about core values. Do leave me a comment or send me a message. Let me know if anything resonate with you. And if there's anything, like I said, that you want to see. But y'all have a great Wednesday, and I'll see y'all around the tube. I might be in the balcony on Dice. Wait, did I come on today? Yeah, somebody. It's Wednesday. So see y'all later. Until next time. Bye.